This is a stimulus check update and daily news report, and things are finally starting to move forward. House panel releases spending bill section for child tax credit and infrastructure financing, and they have a date of when they expect to finish everything else by. I'll give you the latest of what Bernie Sanders said and play you a video clip of a Democrat Congress member bashing Joe Manchin. Then we'll talk stimulus checks, about the $5,000 stimulus checks that some Americans are going to receive. We'll talk about this article right here, one more stimulus check. Could $2,000 payments be possible under new federal plan? We'll talk about other stimulus check programs and how a video resurfaces of Nancy Pelosi saying that we can't require people to get vaccines. Then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So a video of Nancy Pelosi saying we cannot require vaccinations resurfaces. So this is right after President Biden gives out that bombshell announcement of executive orders that is going to mandate vaccines for over 100 million Americans. So Nancy Pelosi says a few things here. I'm going to play the video clips really short, then we'll talk more about it.
So here's the thing. We cannot require someone to be vaccinated. That's just not what we can do. It is a matter of privacy to know who is or who isn't.
So that video clip came out in April 29th of 2021. Did things change since then? Is it okay now to require vaccine mandates? Should Nancy Pelosi stick to her words in saying we cannot require vaccinations, which is in contrast to her boss, President Biden? Let me know your thoughts on all that down in the comments below. Also, the U.S. could authorize Pfizer COVID shot for kids aged 5 to 11 in October. So I mentioned this the other day. I didn't mention a date. Now there is a potential date that October, just a few weeks away, that ages 5 to 11 kids could get the COVID vaccine. Let me know your thoughts on that. Is this a good idea, bad idea? I'm really curious about your thoughts. A lot of different vaccine news going on now. Next, let's switch it up to stimulus checks. So this article came out. Some Americans are in line for $5,000 stimulus checks. See if you're getting cash. So this is just for some Americans in New York who will receive a stimulus check worth up to $5,000. So what's going on here is New York City will spend some nearly $6 billion it received from the COVID-19 recovery funds from the Biden administration to provide financial assistance for artists, taxi drivers, and the homeless. So what's going on here is that some 1,800 local artists across varied disciplines who have suffered financially during the pandemic will receive $5,000 checks. The so-called New York City Artist Corp grant will be fully distributed by October, according to the recovery plan report, and saying that it includes $65 million in relief for big apples for New York City's struggling taxi cab industry, which faces stiff competition from rideshare companies like Lyft and Uber. So another $65 million going out to taxi cab companies. And then here it says they'll also spend $125 million helping support the city's homeless population. One goal is to help people without housing more easily leave homeless shelters. The city also aims to cut street homelessness in half using stimulus funds from that third stimulus check package. Let me know your thoughts on all of that. Next, let's talk about California stimulus checks. So California is sending out $2,600 to $1,100 stimulus payments next week. These started going out August 27th, and they're going out week by week. So $600 checks for individuals, $1,100 checks for people with dependents. So it looks like more are going to go out next week. Then let's go over this article right here. One more stimulus check. Could $2,000 payments be possible under new federal plan? So we still have not heard about the $2,000 per month fourth stimulus check entering that $3.5 trillion spending plan. There's a lot of push for it. A lot more articles on stimulus checks have been coming out over the last few days in the past week. But still, when it comes to that $2,000 in the federal plan, it's still not there. When it comes to the petition, $2,000 per month to every American petition. It is at 2,877,000 signatures so far, but still has not entered the big spending plan, at least not the recurring. There is talk about a one-time payment of $1,400 stimulus checks, but going out to a small amount of people. So fourth stimulus payment of $1,400 not off the table entirely, thanks to inflation. So due to inflation, a lot of senior citizens are suffering from that, and because of that, that, $1,400 stimulus check for seniors. Senior Citizens League creates petition to support Social Security recipients. So there's been a big media blitz when it comes to $1,400 stimulus checks for senior citizens over the past few days. Many articles have been coming out, mainly because they have the Senior Citizens League supporting it and going to, I guess, having more coverage in media covering the $1,400 stimulus checks, and then they're going to lobby Congress members. When it comes to the fourth $2,000 stimulus check for the general public, that it doesn't have that kind of support. So this is the petition right here, petition to Congress, provide a $1,400 stimulus check to Social Security recipients, specifically senior citizens who are receiving Social Security. So there is a lot of push for that. There's other different types of stimulus check programs as well. So stimulus update, farm workers and meat packers to receive $600 checks. So this is a $700 million aid program from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So it looks like a lot of different organizations and programs are getting these stimulus checks, states and all that, or getting stimulus funds, and they could use that however they want. As the news comes out, I like to report it. So a lot of these stimulus check programs are in effect and in motion. Some are proposals. These checks are going out. Let's talk about where these stimulus checks would live and where they would be presented. Let's talk about the reconciliation bill, that $3.5 trillion spending package. So the latest of what Bernie Sanders said is, we are not going to build bridges just so our people can live under them. No infrastructure bill without the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. So basically saying we have the part one basically secured, not fully voted, not fully passed yet, but saying that physical infrastructure is going to build the bridges, but in order to build the bridges, you need that $3.5 trillion human infrastructure. Has so many different names, constantly changing, but it is a reconciliation bill. So that's what Bernie Sanders wants. Now, what's the latest with that? House panel releases spending bill section on child tax credit, infrastructure financing. So it looks like piece by piece, different committees are going to do this. So House Ways and Means Committee late Friday released an additional tranche of its portion of the Democrats' $3.5 trillion spending social package, covering a wide range of issues such as the child tax credit, infrastructure financing, clean energy incentives, and healthcare. So it was 645 pages of this bill that they finished so far, and they said that when they're going to finish it by, so House Democrats are seeking to move quickly on the $3.5 trillion package, aiming to have all committees approve their portions of the legislation by September 15th. So that is just a couple days. Now, let's not forget how many different dates and deadlines we've seen over the past few months, as well as past year and a half since all of the stimulus news has been coming out. So September 15th is what they're saying. Will it happen? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Since when has Congress made a date and stuck to it? Just saying, I'm pointing out what's been going on in the past. So when it comes to House Democrats, this new article right here, House Democrats propose renewing Biden's $300 monthly checks to families until 2025 in social spending package. So these are the child tax credits, also known as stimulus checks or monthly checks, so $300 per month or $250 per month, depending on the child's age. So they want to have this extended until 2025 so far. We've heard some Democrats debate how this is going to be permanent forever, but it looks like it's going to be for the next 3-4 years, starting in 2022 to until 2025. Let me know your thoughts on that. Should it be permanent? Should it be up until 2025, until we get out of this big economic hole and hopefully things are better by 2025? Or should it be permanent? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next up is a video clip from Katie Porter, Democratic Congress member, bashing Joe Manchin and talking about this big $3.5 trillion spending package.
We have revenue options on the table. There are a huge number of corporations that pay zero taxes, and by making savvy revenue choices, for example, using a real corporate profit approach to dealing with those corporations that pay zero, we could generate $700 billion. If we use the corporate minimum tax approach, we're going to generate $40 billion. Right there, Senator Manchin, right there, anyone who's worried about spending, we can generate the revenue so that this isn't about 3.5 trillion in spending. It's not even now about 3.5 trillion in spending because we're going to generate the revenue to pay for these things. I have the will to do it. The question is, does Senator Manchin, or is he more concerned about his corporate donors, including large corporations, the oil and gas industry, the big pharmaceutical industry, and others who are getting away with paying nothing under our current tax system?
All right, well, how about tax enforcement? It was dropped from the bipartisan bill, but the Treasury Department just said that the top 1% are evading, I'm not talking about adding new laws, evading $163 billion every year. Shouldn't tax enforcement putting more money into the IRS to enforce the existing tax laws, wouldn't that be a great part of this budget?
Heck yes, Stephanie, but look who took that out. The very same people who are complaining that we can't afford to make investments in regular American families are the same ones who are trying to shield the tax cheats of this country. So they can't have it both ways. Absolutely, we should fully fund the IRS enforcement. Every American should pay their fair share, whether you're a huge corporation or a entry-level worker. But right now we have a system in which the everyday people pay, and the super, super wealthy, that top 1%, those huge multinational corporations, get away with paying nothing. I and the other people who are pushing to invest in American families, including through things like childcare, are the very same people pushing to fully fund the IRS. I'd like to see Senator Joe Manchin come out in favor of fully funding the IRS, in favor of having a fair global corporate tax system. And once we've raised that revenue, then I'm willing to talk to him about what we need to do to create a budget bill that meets his goal and his definition of being fiscally responsible. I think it's dead on, fiscally irresponsible for Senator Manchin to refuse to raise revenue and at the same time, out of the other side of his mouth, maybe the side of his mouth that he uses to talk to his corporate donors, complain that we can't pay for the things that American families desperately need.
Let me know your thoughts on what she said. So Joe Manchin just is the thorn for this entire operation, this entire stimulus package, spending bill, infrastructure, everything. It all lies on Joe Manchin, whether he decides to do it or not, which is crazy how one man could have so much power. So on a regular basis, I try to research a lot of other different topics, such as increase in Social Security, student loan forgiveness. When there are no news out, I usually don't report on it, but I wanted to see what was going on with rental assistance. So rental assistance delayed as evictions resume. So I want to make sure that this rental assistance is going out, and it looks like there are still delays. I just don't understand it. But yeah, that's the latest of rental assistance. It's still available. People could still sign up for the majority of the programs, but that money is just not going out and evictions are happening, unfortunately. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Jamie Fell asks, what is going to happen to people like myself who is awaiting a heart transplant and cannot receive any vaccine for COVID? So I'm assuming that there are certain ways that people could get out of the vaccine mandate, especially if you have a health condition, like if you're waiting for a heart transplant and you can't receive the COVID vaccine. I'm pretty sure that that would be an exemption. At least I would think so. Next, Francine Bowman, what is $600 going to do for them? Not much. So referring to either the California $600 stimulus check or the $600 checks going out to meat packers and farmers. Every dollar counts. It may not be enough to pay all the rent, utilities, food for an entire month, but at this point, I think every dollar counts. But you're right, $600 doesn't really go too far. Next question comes from Charles Bretner. So who qualifies as a senior? What age? 50, 55, 63. So I'm pretty sure that seniors that get Social Security benefits are the ones that qualify. So whenever you're, I think it's age 62 is when you could collect Social Security benefits, but some people like to wait a little longer so that they could get more money out of it. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but for the $1,400 stimulus check petition and proposal, it's not official yet. I believe it's Social Security recipients who are seniors. So hopefully that answers your question. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To hopefully brighten your day a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I'll tell you something that is very cool. that you guys are cool and I am cool. We all are cool because do you know why? I love you. Because that you guys make a warmth inside of me and I love the way you do it. Because you are so nice. So that's all I wanted to tell you. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. It really means so much to me, and I love that I'm able to give you this news on a daily basis. No fluff, just straight to the point. If you appreciate that type of thing, hit the like button down below, subscribe for more videos like that, and all the other things that YouTubers say. But it does help out the channel so that, you know, I could send this message to more people as I am doing it with truth and facts and showing you the exact sources. Anyways, if you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click up here for more stimulus updates, and down here, actually opposite, up here for my other channels, down here for more stimulus updates, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe, thank you for watching.